Listen.
That's another lesson.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? Mike McAlco here with the one and only Chris WARUNKI.
Hey, guys, good to be
teaching
back.
some really cool crossover patterns today. And so Chris was just demonstrating from one of the play-alongs that's in Drumeo Edge, just some of the stuff you're going to be playing today.
Yeah, and that play-along was called Trading Fours. It's a lot of fun if you guys want to practice some fills or grooves or whatnot. Yeah, we're going to be doing cool crossovers today, which are going to add a new exciting visual element to your drumming. If you guys are already dabbling in crossovers, and that's fantastic, I have some new patterns for you. We're going to be focusing today primarily on 16th note phrasings in straight 16ths and in 16th note triplets as well. Focusing on the right hand crossing over, but there is a bit of left hand stuff in there as well for you guys. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it adds a great, exciting visual element to your drumming. So this is definitely for live drumming, you know, when you're on stage. Don't bother doing this stuff in the studio.
There's no point.
No, there's no point. It's a visual thing. I mean, the fills sound great. They work musically, but it's primarily a visual thing.
Yeah, I remember the first time, I think somebody asked me today, actually, through email, have I ever seen somebody do it? I mean, of course, we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
But the first time was one of Neil's early solos when he was playing the crossover between the snare and the floor tom. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then the second time was on a video with Dennis Chambers.
Oh yeah,
doing
Dennis,
it with cymbals.
with the cymbals and the
and
kicks.
I was going,
yeah.
okay, I got to learn some of this stuff. So it's very visual. It's
Carter
super
from
cool.
Dave Matthews Band as well.
Totally.
I remember seeing him do that. I just saw him last week.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it adds sort of like a sixth gear to your drumming. You know, it takes it to the next level, basically. Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's dive in. What
All
do we
right,
got?
Great. So I'm just going to get the metronome going here. I'm going to demonstrate these alternating with just some straight time. And
so is it Kyle or Taylor who's pulling up the music? You guys keep
I got it
shifting
right
roles
here,
in
yeah.
there.
So there's
it's Kyle
number
today.
one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, the X means you're crossing over, and that's going to be almost always with the right arm if you're a right-handed drummer. We've got a pretty basic 16th note pattern here, and I'm going to demonstrate it at 90 BPM for you guys. And this is just moving around the kit with your first rack tom and your floor tom and your snare drum.
It's all single strokes.
It's all singles, yeah. Yeah, it's good that you pointed that out. Yeah. Pretty much for the whole lesson, we're just going to be alternating singles. So that's the sticking pattern, just right, left, right, left, right, left.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah. So as you can see, it's a pretty basic fill, and all you're doing is, okay, so you're ending up back on that rack tom. Sounds good if you loop it as well. You know, I was just demonstrating it for 1 bar at a time. If you played it for 2 bars, you know, you could do something like 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I think that's a pretty good one to start out with. I mean, basically you just have to get used to the motion of your right arm crossing over your left, which might be a little bit awkward at first, and you want to try to avoid, you know, mid-air collisions, which happen once in a while. It can happen, right? Yeah. So it's just something you have to get used to. It's a feel thing. You know, your body just has to get used to that motion.
Not only clicking sticks, but I've hit myself in the hand before.
Oh, yeah. We've all had weird drum-related injuries, I'm sure.
Cool. Right on. So it looks good. Let's move on to the next one.
So you guys might want to wear, you know, a hockey helmet with a visor for some of these.
Some hockey gloves.
Some hockey gloves. Yeah. Okay, the next one we're going to move up to both rack toms. You're still crossing over on the 2 and the 4. And this time what you're going to do is actually, if you have a 5-piece kit, you're going to use your 3 toms for this one. Sounds like this.
Jen K says, man, crossover patterns look so sweet.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You know, it's a musical thing because you're playing a very specific pattern, you're playing a very specific fill, but it's also got that visual element to it, which is why it takes it to the next level. You know. Now this one's interesting because you're basically playing the same pattern, you're just transposing it down the toms. So I'm going to play this one maybe just a little bit faster. Let's see what it sounds like.
Okay.
20 beats quicker. Bit of a rit at the end there. Yeah, so I mean, these are a lot of fun. You know, try them out at different tempos. First, start really slow, get used to the motion mechanics of the crossovers. Remember that most of the time you're going to be crossing over with your right arm, and most often the crossover happens on the 2 and the 4.
Cool.
So think of it that way.
Very cool.
Okay, now we're going to do a very similar pattern to that one, but we're going to move it down to the snare drum and the floor tom. I think some of my favorite crossovers, like Mike mentioned before, are between the snare and the floor tom. I think that always looks really cool when drummers, you know, crisscross that way, like Neil Peart was doing in that one solo, right?
Super cool.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do with this next example. I'm going to put it back down to 90 BPM, and we're going to try number 3. So yeah, as you can see, it's that same pattern, but you're just transposing it, which means you're moving it to a different part of the kit to change it melodically. Let's try it a little bit faster. All right, yeah, so I like that. I like seeing a drummer, you know, move it around a little bit, you know, move the pattern around. It makes it a little bit more interesting, not only visually, but musically as well.
Especially when you're not expecting it.
Exactly.
You know, if you're watching a drummer who's generally just into it and just kind of playing, every now and then, oh, cool, Phil. Also, it's like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. It's a surprise.
Hope they do it again.
Right, exactly. And then it's like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes you still can't figure it out, right?
That's right, man. Awesome. This is great.
Yeah, thanks.
We've got quite a few people in the chat here. So, guys, submit some questions. We have some time for questions at the end if you want.
Yeah, guys, get your questions in, and I'll take those near the end of the lesson.
Cool. Let's move on.
All right, moving on to number 4. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, this one's interesting because now you're going to cross over with a left, which is a bit difficult. So I'm going to break this one down a little bit slower to begin with. So what you're doing here is you're going... And now what I'm doing for this, just to get control of the left and make sure there's no mishaps, is I'm playing it, I'm actually moving my elbow up a little bit to get over my right arm, and I'm using like a French grip with my thumb on top to get a bit more of a, good angle on the floor tom over here. So try this one really slowly before you put it together, because this one, I mean, it's a bit of a tricky pattern anytime you're crisscrossing left over right. Okay, I'm going to play it at 90 BPM for you guys. as you can see, this one looks pretty interesting because you have the right over the left, and then you have the left over the right. Sometimes when you see guys doing those cool crossovers on the cymbals, they're crisscrossing, so they're going right over left, left over right, kind of looks like this. So that adds another element, another visual element. It's not just always using your right to cross over. Nothing wrong with that, but this just adds that extra element to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more challenging, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it a little bit quicker. Yeah. All right, so like I said, break that one down, play it really slowly, get used to the mechanics of it, and then gradually speed it up.
Perfect.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun once you get it going. Okay, moving on, we're gonna get into some 16th note triplet patterns now. These are fantastic. These are a lot of fun to play, and they're kind of known as the John Bonham fill or the Led Zeppelin fill, right? When you're doing triplets like this, which are going to be right, left, kick. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring the right hand over on every 2 and the 4 on the 16th note triplet pattern, okay? So basically, it sounds and looks like this.
Yeah, members are digging it, man.
Cool, thanks guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one, again, you're just using like a 4-piece configuration for this one, kind of like we did with number 1. And already at 90 BPM, it's a bit quick. So you might have to slow this one down just to get the separation and the definition of the
Can you slow it down
triplets.
just a little bit?
Yeah,
for some of the
sure.
numbers?
So if we were to slow it down, it'd be like... You're bringing both hands to the floor tom. So it's like... Yeah, and then 2 kicks coming out of it to get to the 1. We can try this one a bit faster as well. Let's see if we can swing this at 110. Okay, so
Daniel J. Jones says, "Ramp it up."
Ramp it up. Yeah, we like to do that. We like to do that at Drumeo once in a while, don't we?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
All right, so moving on to the next set of 16th note triplets. This is going to start out on the rack toms, and then it's going to get transposed down to the snare and the floor tom. So what we're going to do here, I'll just break it down for you guys, is... We're actually going to move it between the second rack tom and the floor tom. Let me double check that. Yeah, so no snare drum. Okay, so at 90 BPM, it's going to sound like this.
Michelle asks if you could demonstrate this at 65 BPM.
Probably not, but I'll try. That's like uncharted territory
Michelle
for
was
me.
one of our VIPers.
But that's a good question.
3, yeah.
Hey, I'm always up for a challenge.
Not 165, 65.
All right, there you go, Michelle.
There you go. She said I needed 65. Okay, Michelle,
Yeah.
you got to start there.
Well, like I said, yeah, start slow. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Start at 60 or put your metronome on 120 and then just play halftime. That always helps as well because there's less gaps in there. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We've still got triplets. This is one of my favorites, actually, because this is crossing over from the hi-hats to the floor tom. So this one's pretty interesting. Actually, a student of mine and I came up with this one when we were just doing some sort of like gospel chop style drumming.
Cool.
Because you'll see a lot of the gospel chops guys and some of the fusion-y guys do this sort of thing where they're doing these cool combos and it's between the hi-hat and floor tom. And it looks really good because you're really stretching out the crossover.
Yeah.
Because it's quite a distance, you know, from the, basically it's from one side of the kit to the other.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing your hi-hat to your floor tom.
Yeah.
So
I've
one
been noticing Jared's been doing a lot of this, and he's lucky he's got long arms.
Jared does have long
I
arms,
try.
so he's probably
I can't
pretty
even
good
hug
at this.
myself, so
Well,
I have a hard time with these.
That's something I was going to bring up is that you want to make sure that your hi-hats aren't like way over here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You want to have them nice and close.
Yeah, these are cool.
Yeah.
These are very cool
Your
to
floor
watch.
tom as well.
Yeah.
Because I have in the past, just on one occasion, sort of hyperextended my arm or my shoulder blade by doing like a really far crossover. Like I was on the crash cymbals and they were really far apart and I was like this.
Yeah.
And then I really felt it the next day.
Ouch.
Yeah. So another thing too is you might want to stretch before trying some of
dangers
these.
of drumming.
I knew I forgot to do something. I was supposed to stretch. But anyways, make sure that your hi-hats and floor tom aren't too far apart for this one. Okay, so this one's going to start out like this. Okay, I don't know if that was slow enough, but starting with 2 on the hi-hat and then 2 on the floor tom. Okay, and then back to the 1. So let's see what this is like at 90 BPM.
Super cool.
Yeah, so this one's pretty unique because I haven't really heard or seen anybody play this specific pattern.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm looking at that.
Yeah.
Some cool. The hi-hat kind of had a cool melody to it.
Exactly.
The hi-hat. Play it one
Yeah.
more time, and just members, check out the hi-hat because there's a pattern. The sheet music's going, but you'll hear this
Yeah.
specific melody that's not a really cool. I mean, it's not really a consistent.
Yeah,
You know, it's just
kind of broken up a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's pretty
Play it one more time
pretty
so they
cool
can hear the
phrasing.
hi-hat, yeah.
Sure.
and you're hearing that melody in there. It's cool.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's got this cool hi-hat melody happening as well as the floor tom stuff that's going on and the kick.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, throw some questions at us if you have anything. So we got lots of time. So
Yeah. Get your questions in.
yeah. We got
Don't
a few more
hesitate.
here, right?
Don't hesitate to ask. We got a few more to go. This next one is going to have open hi-hats with your floor tom played in unison. And this is actually a pretty interesting hi-hat melody as well.
Yeah.
Interesting hi-hat phrasing. I came up with this one quite a while ago and I actually use it live sometimes. I throw it in an Omnisite song here and there. So let's check this one out at 90.
interesting. Anybody who attended VIP, Jared and Dave did a class on groupings.
Okay.
And you hear those two groups of 7 followed by the group of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2.
Yep. That's what it is.
Example.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Example. You know, I mean, I was listening to the whole time they were doing this, so you get these rhythms in your head.
Right.
And as soon as you started playing that, I went,
yeah.
That's 7, 7, and 2.
Yeah, you end up recognizing these phrasings and internalizing.
You guys recognize those?
Recognize
Solo
those?
Rider, yeah. Michelle.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, exactly.
So cool.
It's a great phrasing. Yeah, let's speed this one up.
Yeah, let's rock this one.
Let's. What did Daniel say? Let's kick it up a notch or
ramp it up.
Ramp it
Chris.
up. Let's ramp it up.
Chris.
Okay, we're gonna ramp it up.
Everybody's digging this one.
Awesome.
You know, everybody's really.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. This is a Chris WARUNKI exclusive. Coming right at you.
I love it. That's very cool.
Don't steal my licks. Just kidding. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Borrow them.
Just borrow them.
Just give them back when you're done.
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
Very cool.
And you can move this one around, guys. Like, feel free to experiment with all of these. I mean, these aren't written in stone. These are concepts. These are ideas. So you can take them and do your own thing with them. I always encourage that to all my students. You know, take it and make it your own, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
All you need to do is modify one note or, you know, I don't know, as many notes as you want, really.
Yep.
Just use it as the concept. I mean, you know, I tried to play it on this floor tom. It was pretty tough, but, you know, I went from... So that's a bit of a stretch. You know, you could also do something like...
John the Con says add some double bass to that.
Yeah, and that's definitely possible, and you know, I have done that in the past.
Yeah.
What I would do with that one is something like this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and all that was. Like groups of 2s and 4s on the kicks. It really fills it out. You know, I have a lot of combo lessons in the archives. Check them out if you haven't seen them already, because that's something that I really enjoy doing. And I get to do that a lot in my band, Omnisite. If you haven't heard Omnisite, check out omnisite.bandcamp.com. It's OMNISIGHT. Because I get to do a lot of combo fills. It's progressive metal. It's melodic, though, but there's room for a lot of cool little licks like that.
Sure, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, the double kick factor, because that can really spice up the groove or the
And the
fill.
cool thing is, with the music you play, with the band you play, it's almost expected, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
it's like not overplaying because it's...
But you
know.
got cats that are coming out to see you guys play and perform.
Yeah.
We want to see drummers do all that cool stuff, right? So
it's like when you go to see Rush or Dream Theater, it's like you're expecting some musicianship.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is, right? Playing in a Rush tribute.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Right?
You know, it made me nervous because every drummer in the whole room was like,
well, exactly.
waiting for my mistakes.
It's waiting to see if you do it right.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, like I said, get creative with these, make them your own, throw in some double kick if you want to.
Yeah.
It's always a fun thing to do. Okay, sweet. Let's see what we got left here.
Huh? Yeah.
A couple more. Okay, this one's pretty basic. Just get the metronome back to 90 here. It's very basic but very effective. I do this a lot live, and it's just simply crossing over from your crashes. So basically what you're doing there is just going from both crashes in unison to crossing over and still hitting both crashes in unison. So you want to make sure that your crashes aren't too far. Usually I don't have the second crash right up here. I have it over here somewhere. So I'm crossing over a little bit further like this, which is a bit of a stretch for this kit. But if you have your crash cymbals here, you know, in the pretty basic common position, then it's going to be pretty easy to cross over, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
So let's try this at 90. All right.
We will.
Kind of a We Will Rock You thing, an updated We Will Rock You, if you will. Yeah.
Solo Rider put the updated version.
Yeah, exactly. That took the words right out of my mouth.
That's great.
So that's a lot of fun, and that's pretty simple. That's really easy to do. Let's speed it up a little bit.
Quicker, yeah.
Yeah, let's speed it up and go to 110.
Dom says, if Mike Portnoy played for Queen, that's what he would play.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, that's actually pretty good comparison, yeah.
Are there any new members, first-timers today? Guys, if you're in the chat, guys, gals in the chat, let us know if you're a first-timer. We'll get Chris to play a little welcome lick for you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It makes me do it all the time, so I'm making Chris do it.
Okay, very cool.
Even if you have to pretend you're new here, and I know you're not, we'll still get him to play an intro lick for you.
Great, it'll be licks all day long now.
Joined last night. Hey, we have Michael Gorsuch. I hope I said that right. So let's welcome.
Okay, Michael.
Michael, and you got to play a
Michael, welcome to Drumeo. Here's
little
your
5-second
welcome
intro
fill.
lick. Yeah.
Welcome to Drumeo, Michael.
Oh, we have another one. Cali Life 1214.
Okay, Cali?
Cali Life.
Cali Life.
I
Oh,
believe.
Cali Life. Okay,
Yeah.
like with a C or with a K?
So we have to do twice as long because we also. Oh man. Okay, we got
Okay.
lots of. We got lots of
Okay,
new
we got
people.
lots. Okay, here's a lick for Cali Life.
Okay.
Welcome to
keeps going down.
Drumeo.
All these new.
Come
people,
on, guys.
So welcome, guys.
Are you
and
really
gals.
new?
That's
Are you really
awesome.
new? If you are, welcome. That's great.
Okay, so maybe in a second we'll. Get
I don't think I'll run out, but we'll see.
That is great. Okay, we got one more here, do we?
Yeah.
And then
okay.
we'll take some questions and stuff. Throw some questions at us, folks.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
Well, let's actually check out number 10 here because, well, it's the last pattern, and I want to point something out here. It's notated as a China and a crash, but you can just use your second crash, and also for the bell of the ride, use the little splash if you have one, or something that's sort of central in the kit. You'll see why. If you were to play this with the bell of the ride, it would be very, very difficult, I think. So that's why I notated it that way, because the diamond icon is going to be a splash, and you are going to use your second crash. Unless your China's right up here, then that would work. But this is a really cool double kick fill. We were talking about how guys like Dennis Chambers, Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews, they do these really cool double kick fills with cymbals, right? Yeah. So I thought I'd throw some cymbals in here since it's been primarily drums for the most part. So this one's pretty basic. You're just doing a run of 16th notes. You can use double kick for this, by the way. And I'm going to demonstrate it at 90. All right.
That is cool. Can you slow that down a little bit for a couple of
Yeah.
numbers?
So I'll do this with a single pedal and slow it down.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Okay, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun when you get your cymbals and kicks going with these crossovers.
So we do have 2 other members I see here. It was Lumen, and there was another one I saw here. Or did we do Lumen already? Lumen
no, I don't think we did. Lumen.
I saw another one here. Benbow.
Okay.
Benbow
and Lumen. Okay, Lumen.
2 separate intros.
Welcome to Drumeo. Yes. So we're gonna try this lick here. One more time. There's your lick.
And then one for Benbow.
Benbow. Okay, Benbow. Welcome to Drumeo. Okay, what do we have for Benbow? Okay, let's try. Let's try to do something like this.
Nice, awesome jazz lick. I love that.
It's great. It's great on the small jazz gigs when you're playing with your trio. That's exactly what you want to do.
Especially with brushes.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially with brushes. It sounds fantastic. Yeah.
Dave Atkinson says, love it. Of course he loves it.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Thanks for tuning in.
Dave rocks. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions. Wow, we've only got 1 question. 1 question?
It's okay. I think that means that the lesson was pretty clear.
It was pretty clear, which is really great. Let's see what McGowan has to say here.
All right,
McGowan. It says, hey, this sounds great. How often do you use crossover patterns? I know you mentioned you'd only use them live, but what sort of context or style do you find it appropriate to use them? Example, solos, fills, or grooves?
Well, they're obviously great for solos because of the showmanship factor involved. But you know what? I use them on top 40 gigs sometimes, just to spice it up a little bit. You can use them on rock gigs, obviously, metal gigs. You can use them. I mean, it's up to you, really. It's all a matter of taste and preference where you want to use them. I've seen jazz drummers do it too. Jazz drummers do crossovers as well, right?
And I'll be honest, I've used this stuff when I kind of get bored on a gig sometimes.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Honestly, you're playing and the band's just not into it.
Mm-hmm.
I sub for a lot of bands.
Yeah.
And the band's just, there's no energy being.
Right.
And I'm like, are you kidding, guys?
Yeah.
Like, there's people. And every now and then I'll do something like this, and they're like, "Oh, look, honey, the drummer just did a thing."
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, now the band's got more excitement to it. So,
well, that's the thing. The band kind of wakes up when you do something like that sometimes.
It's almost like, hey, the drummer can't get all the attention.
So it serves a greater purpose sometimes. Right?
But don't overuse it. I mean,
don't overuse it.
Don't get too silly with it. So, hey, we got a question from Daniel J. Jones.
Hey, Daniel.
It says, "Hey, great lesson as usual, Chris."
Thank you, Daniel.
It says you've used a fantastic splash. You used to have a fantastic splash, and it looks like you replaced it with a piece of Swiss cheese. What was that old splash, and why the change?
Good question. First of all, I'm not using my own cymbals today. This is the Drumeo house kit with the house cymbals. Usually I'm playing Sabian cymbals, and the splash that I think you're referring to is a 10-inch Sabian HHX Evolution splash, which is nice and thin. That's probably the one that you're thinking of. I have used a couple other splashes on Drumeo before, including a 10-inch AA China splash, which is very abrasive and very loud. But I think the one that you're thinking of is my go-to, which is the 10-inch Evolution splash by Sabian, which is cracked. That's why I don't have it here. Waiting to get a replacement.
Oh, too bad. I had that same cymbal. I loved it.
It's great.
I had the 12 too, and I actually got Weckl to sign that one.
Oh, nice.
And I still have my 7, and it's...
The 7's great.
And it's so dinged up and whatnot. It's on my student kit right now, but it still sounds
I really
great.
love those splashes. This one, the good old Swiss cheese design works well if you're doing really quick patterns, though.
Yeah.
It's a quick in and out, so that's why I chose this one today.
Perfect. Okay, 572 Heaven says, at 90, I'm assuming they're talking about maybe the last one, number 10.
Yeah.
Was that double or single bass? Just wondering.
At 90, that was double. I was using a double pedal for that one. And then when I slowed it down, I was using a single. Just to demonstrate it, to break it down, I was just using single. If you have a fast enough single, you can just use a single kick for this. I notated it as a single kick, but when the tempo goes up, you're definitely going to need a double pedal to do this one. Plus, I like the way that looks too, and it just feels more balanced that way, because you got both arms going, then you got both feet going. It just kind of makes sense.
Well, it looks like we have no more questions, sir. So I'm going to have to wrap it up early today. Did you want to,
no problem. Yeah, I'll play you guys
with
out.
something for us?
Sure, I'll do the trading fours play along again.
Okay.
with
demonstrate some of these ideas.
with some of these licks here.
But thanks everybody for tuning in, and Chris, thanks so much for coming out
thanks,
today.
Mike.
This was a lot of
It was
fun
great.
as always.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me as a host today. I'm
Yeah,
excited
it was
to
a
do this.
pleasure. Yeah, I almost
And,
called you Dave.
it's
but
okay,
I,
I've
you know,
been
I had to
called
do a
worse.
double take.
But anyways, anybody, here's Chris, and he's going to play
Thanks.
us out with some
Thanks,
Trading
guys.
Floor stuff.
Drum on.